Well, hello and welcome everybody to the Tour of Watopia stage number 4. This is live ride and chat. A little bit of an experiment today. See how things go with that. We used to do this in the past, actually, live rides and chats. And we are on Tuesdays, this Tuesday as well as next Tuesday, and maybe a few more in the future. Going to be doing these. Nathan, Guerra, Dave, Towle, and Gabby is joining us.
Hi.
Dave, I got you. Sorry, I had you muted for a second there.
Hey, no worries. I wasn't saying anything because I want to hear more from Gabby. It's very cool. We've never done a broadcast together, but I'm a huge fan of hers, and she knows that.
Hey, Dave. It's
Hey,
cool.
bud.
It's cool, like riding together like that and connecting with the community to two different ways in one. So broadcast,
Yeah.
riding the event.
So we were just talking before the broadcast about Eric Schlange, and what an amazing job he does at Zwift Insider, Nathan. He's become such a valuable resource for me. I was lucky enough to meet him in person in Seattle earlier this year. I know that you two have a very special connection through Eric, which is super nice. But as we get going out here today, we can talk a lot more about all of that. But today is going to be stage 4 jungle time. You guys are doing Road to Ruins. So the B group you're heading out with. I see the A group is going out for almost 43K. They're doing the big loop today. Jungle circuit for the a slightly shorter ride for for everybody's taste. They can choose what they want. I'm sure here in North America, folks just like you guys there in Wisconsin are squeezing in a midday ride right now, but the numbers are so huge. And guys, I'm looking at the flags and it looks like a lot of Europeans taking advantage of the double XP points out here. They want to get their fire socks.
Yeah, 100%. So the course, that's the interesting thing between the Tour of Watopia and all the different courses, that the it actually was a little confusing for me, just a tad, like where we were going. And that is one thing I definitely wanted to highlight, was between all three of the stages, the A category, the B category, the C8 category, all able to use different routes. So, man, it is warm in here. Holy crap. Usually we turn on the AC, and like I thought for sure we wouldn't need to today, but it just happens to be like the sunniest, warmest day we've ever had in the last 2 weeks.
You know, we had here in Colorado, Nathan, it was 83 degrees when I got home from Florida on Sunday. So I think it's going to change, though. It's literally changing right now here in Colorado. So if you want to get off the bike, can you take a coffee break and go turn on the AC?
I was
here?
actually thinking about that. I was actually thinking about doing exactly that.
I've seen Gabby has shown me. I watched one of her videos that showed me how the coffee break works. So Nathan, that's a nice way to think of this. Actually, Eric does so much work at Zwift Insider to help keep me clear, because I didn't realize that everybody wasn't riding on the same routes. I had to go figure that out, and that's sort of true with a lot of things in Zwift, is that your research. And in my time in real life racing, I have learned the value of reconnoitering, or going and looking at the venue beforehand, seeing where the pinch points in your day might be, right? Like, Gabby, as you get into racing here in the United States, you'll see that some do better with registration than others. Sometimes you might spend 45 minutes in a reg line, right, getting your numbers. And so you kind of need to figure out the lay.
Is that the comparison? That's the comparison.
Yeah, that's my comparison. A bad reg line.
We're spending 45 minutes in a reg line.
Yeah. So I'm trying to make it more palatable, but it's definitely one of those, the coming loaded for bear with knowledge. I mean, you do all the training, you get all the equipment, do all the travel. The last piece of this puzzle for success is being organized on race day. And sometimes it's out of your control. The organizer isn't even organized, right? But in your case, definitely Zwift Insider for me, Nathan. I mean, tell me if what I'm missing, if I am missing anything, but what Eric does for me is breaks it down. He's really good at understanding the data that you need and pulling out all the fluff and junk that is just marketing, or he gets right down to business, and I appreciate that. Plus, he's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah, 100%. Last night, well, Gabriela, why don't you come in on this? Like, because she said last night, what was the video? We actually sent a video to Eric and Monica.
Yeah, we were talking about what route we were riding today, and where can we find information about this route? On the companion app, you can see what route it is, and maybe how long and how many meters of climbing you have, but you cannot see any more details. So we go always to Zwift Insider. It's obvious. And I said, what would the world would be without Zwift Insider? Because they have so much information about every route, equipment, and especially on race days, it helps me so much to know, okay, what would be a suggestion for the best choice here. And I mean, talking about Zwift Insider, the Zwift Insider Tiny Races, for example, Eric always posts about the routes that we're going to race, and he suggests strategies. So that helps a lot to just plan ahead. And I think that's also a part of success for a race specific, but for events like that.
Well, the TRW 200 though, like, I mean, so it's like on this course, we're going to do a bike swap here, right? And
Exactly. For events like that, it's also good to know how much climbing. We're climbing the mountain up right now. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. So I didn't want to have a gravel bike here, right? So when we enter the jungle.
Oh, one sec, babe. One sec, hon. One sec.
That's
my bad. All right, go ahead, hon.
No problem. So we know that we're gonna enter the jungle, and we would rather have a gravel bike then, so we can plan it ahead. And we will do a bike swap today. So thanks, Eric, for the information.
Which one are we doing? Which one are we doing? Which one does it say to do?
Can I ask a bike swap question?
Yeah, please.
So, Gabby, what's the quickest that you've done it? How your F1 time?
Oh, Dave, I don't know, because I've done only a bike swap on a race last year. I've seen so many people do it this year and do it so fast and be impressed with each other how fast they could change the bike. I didn't do it this year. I think I took quite a long time, like 15 seconds probably.
Oh,
but it worked
Nathan
for me
told
last year.
I was saying Nathan told me that he'd seen sub 8-second changes, so we'll get you there.
Yeah, that would
Is
be
that
awesome.
the challenge today? That's the challenge today. Here we go. How fast can we do our bike swap?
Well, one thing that I've been noticing, if you have your play controllers, you can brake with them. If you brake only one side, I think it brakes slower than if you pushed both sides. And people use usually the A key to brake, which opens up your connection screen and makes your avatar stop. But still, that takes a couple seconds as well. So I'm curious to see what will be the faster way to bring your avatar to stop.
It's crazy, isn't it, when you watch F1, how hard they make that stop as they charge into the box, right? It's the same thing for you here. You got to get, I love that when you hear in their comms, box, 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 right? But that's what they're saying is get in there and stop. Because until you're stopped, you're not stopped, and they can't change your wheels, right? So yeah, okay. Well, where are we doing that change?
Yeah, let's talk a little. Yeah, let's talk about the course. Like, what course are we on? Exactly.
Road to Ruins, right?
Road to Ruins, but they're calling it in the companion app. They call it standard, right? Like
they say group ride standard Road to Ruins 29.6.
Does it say that? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering about, because it just helps me remember all of the different ways. Because whenever I'm looking at a course and I'm wondering, what am I going to need to do I don't actually anymore think, oh, I'm going to go look at where I'm going because I'm familiar with all of these courses.
Mhm.
If you tell me, what course are we doing? And then I go, oh, I have a memory of what's happened here. I have a memory of like this first little incline that we just did and what it's all about. Like, how have I raced it in the past or rode it in the past?
Well, and can
Go
I
ahead,
stop
dude.
you there, Nathan? Yeah, I was just going to say, let's even go a step further back in that process with you, because your data bank, then you'd already know what bike you wanted to use, right? You'd come into that race with your equipment all sorted because you've already seen everything already out there.
Yes, kind of. Yeah. So like I know
Or
coming.
change after what you learned from the last time you raced there, maybe.
Yeah, so like I definitely have in my head immediately, like I'm on the wrong bike actually for me, 100%. like the moment I got in here today,
What
I'm
are you on?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. Gabby's
And
a
Gabby,
little bit
please.
ahead of me. Here we go. I can find me here. So I'm gonna come in. Noise gate up. So that. Thank you, hon. Okay, so I'm gonna. Let's see here. So I'm on the Specialized Athos with the Rovo CLX wheels because I was doing
Your
climbing,
climbing bike.
getting
This is
ready
pure
for.
climbing.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
getting ready for ZGP this week.
Mhm.
So I was out doing some climbing stuff.
Well, makes
I'm
sense.
on a
And there's
Tron bike.
absolutely. What are you on? Your Tron, did you say?
Yeah, I was planning actually being on a Tron bike and then swapping to the gravel bike because I know the first part of the course was be like more climbing. And then once we pass the start pins that we will see on the right side, it starts going down on tarmac still. But I would suggest you swap your bike before that because you come full gas into the jungle and you don't want to lose your speed there. So that's what I know about the course.
All right, so let us know as we start getting close to that moment, please, Gabby. So,
Yes, I
guys,
will.
I'm very curious the mindset that you see out here. I mean, this is really bananas when you look at the number of. Well, I was looking at the A's, but we're in the B's now, and I mean, Nathan, that's correct. There's 697 riders in this event. That's a massive number. I mean, there's a lot of Grand Fondos in the United States that would be happy to see 700 people show up. That's for
Yeah,
sure. And that's
I'm
just the
actually amazed at
B's.
how many people showed up here. Like yesterday, we weren't sure
Is
what
that,
was going to
Nathan,
be.
that's the B's or that's all
That's the B. No,
categories?
this is just the B category. This is just
Mind-blowing.
the B
So
category.
well, I think we should just be broadcasting these rides from here on in. Um, it's mind blowing. So, all right. I don't know if you've ever heard my joke before, Gabby, about the bicycle now is coming up on like more than 150 years of existence. But if you think about it, like when they made the first bicycle, you can only imagine that, somebody wrote it and then somebody else wrote it. But when the second bicycle was made, it only took 2 minutes until the first bicycle race happened. Right? I mean, that's how excited people were to race. My point being, Nathan, do these turn into races?
Yeah, of course they do. Of course
Yeah,
they do.
of course they
always
do.
do.
This
Yeah,
is
they
Zwift, right? And
always
these are
do.
human
Yeah.
beings. So,
Yeah.
of course, it's
So
so.
I think she's
So, but
swapping.
you're not going to worry about
Are
it,
you
are you?
swapping? No, I'm not. I'm not gonna. But we're gonna make a bike swap. And Gabby's mic died again, so I'm just gonna mess with
Okay.
that. If you
All right,
can
I'll talk for a
bear
sec.
with us for 1 second.
Yeah. So, actually, very quickly, while these two are doing this, it's a fun story. So, if you haven't met Gabby and Nathan before, well, I'm trying to think how they were married in the last year. But one of the great stories was how they met. It's we've talked. Nathan and I have talked for many hours about how much we love this community, and it's real. It's so real that you're looking at a man and
Yeah,
wife who
I
met
can.
through Zwift here
Right.
as they're working together. But they
We're
met
trying to
at
test the
Eric.
mic while agreeing to your story, which is
Yes.
true.
So Eric was a real catalyst for this. Eric Schlange, we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as he, the Gabby, at the time you were in Brazil or Germany when you came to the United States to
I
visit
was
with
in Germany.
in Germany, right? So, Gabby is. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Gabby. I always thought you were a dual nationality, maybe a tri nationality at some point. But Gabby is Brazilian and German, right? I don't even know
Right.
which passport you carry, or do you carry both passports?
I do carry both passports. I
Uh
have the
huh.
privilege. That's
Yeah, yeah.
not allowed anymore, I think. It
Well,
changed a
we won't
couple
tell
years
anyone.
ago. But I was born in Brazil and raised there for about 10 years. And then I moved to Germany and had the German passport because of German ancestors. So
Uh
I
huh.
ended up with like both citizenships and can basically live in all Europe because of the German passport, and then also the Brazilian passport and Brazilian citizenship.
You are, as much as anyone I know, Gabby, a citizen of the world, to tell you the truth. And
It's true,
um,
Dave. And
it's
now
a
living
great
in the
thing.
States,
Very
I don't even
sophisticated.
know. I don't even know what
Yes,
flag I should choose on Swift. I put the
I feel
Brazil
like
flag because it's like, okay, it's my first citizenship. It was where I was born.
it is
And I really
beautiful.
like the flag.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I say
But
stick with
sometimes I'm
Brazil.
like, I don't know. Some part of me is way more German. It feels like the culture, and I spent so many time there, so much time there. And now living
And
here in the States, I'm like racing my bike here and representing our state. So it's even confusing to me.
This is the
yes.
slowest bike swap I've ever done in my history of all bike swaps.
Hey, Nathan, let's be honest. It involved a microphone swap as
Yeah, it
well in
did.
the
It
bike swap.
did. It
So,
100.
right.
Yeah, yeah. So let's. I think I'm
Gabby,
going mountain bike. I think I'm going mountain bike. Yeah, I'm gonna go
okay.
full mountain bike. Zwift
All
mountain
right.
bike? Or are we doing
Why not? You know what,
specialized?
Nathan, I think Zwift mountain bike would be appropriate. If you're going to go slow, go all in,
Well,
right?
actually,
You're on
well,
a.
this we so I'll have to swap twice actually too. But here's the thing:
Yeah.
we just totally lost all this time, right? But now, because I'm on the mountain bike, we're gonna catch everybody.
You'll come winging back up into that group. Gabby, have you liked racing in the United States while you've had a chance to jump into some of the American crits like Towle, which is the Tour of America's Dairyland, which is basically almost 2 weeks of straight criteriums every day in your home, your
Right.
new homes. Did you have fun there?
Oh, definitely. It was a wonderful experience. It was my first crit race ever. Unfortunately, I could race only 2 races because 2 days before we went to a mountain bike race and I got
Did
injured.
you? Yeah.
I've crashed, and then my knee was huge. It was a huge bruise. But I wanted the experience of crit racing so bad that I just like tried, and it was really good. And I'm kind of hoping and planning to do it next year, and
Good.
then do like a full week or a full 2 weeks. It's all around our area, so it's really nice to get to know little parts of the city and the whole party that's going on there. It's
Yeah.
really a different feeling to bike racing for sure.
Yeah, it's a great scene, and that's one of the benefits of being part of our Zwift community is like I was talking with Nathan the other day about connecting you with riders that we've met like Nadia Gantova, who could give you some good insight on maybe finding teams or
Right.
races to go to. And, I hope you feel really welcome here in our
Thank you,
community
Dave. I
because there's,
definitely do.
yeah, good,
Racing
good.
mountain bike all season, getting to know the scene there, outdoors. Um, just mainly in Wisconsin, it was just really, yeah, welcoming. Like the
Yeah,
community
good.
is really strong together, and it's all about the mountain bike races around our state. And the whole summer, we were doing that, and even connecting with people that Swift, and then meet them in real life, which was awesome.
Fun, huh?
Mhm.
So
Or
I'm
even
going to
bringing
just
them
do
to
this.
Swift.
Right, right. I know exactly what you mean. By the way, Gabby, I'm going to just don't get embarrassed or anything, right? But we are incredibly proud of that result that you had in say it for me, Nathan, please. Chequamagon. I can never say it, Gabby. It's I don't know what I have a mental block, but it's one of the biggest races in America. It's really intense. The riders talk a lot about it, and you had an incredible result there. And it's my job. Don't feel embarrassed, but it's really noteworthy that I want to fly your flag and let people know that you're an athlete that is clearly at a level that you should be racing at lifetime Grand Prix or at the biggest criteriums and road races in America. It's just we got to get you connected, sort of check a couple boxes, paperwork, kind of, like but that one, isn't it amazing? How all of the hard work, the sweat, the tears, the broken chains, the crash, the hematoma on your knee, one good result unlocks a future that all that hard work was bottled up inside of you. But that one race, that one result, all of a sudden unlocks something. Cycling is just weird, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. For sure, there what you said, like all the hard work. If everything works out on race day and you can get a good result, that's undeniable. That's just there then. And
how brutal, Gabby,
privilege.
that one flat tire 5 minutes into that race would have completely changed your day and even your year.
Totally. And then it's not even your performance fault.
Yeah.
It's just things that are part of it. But for my race, it went really well. And I could just hang on and try to make the race as best as I could. And being with, such a high quality crowd was just a privilege that we could race that here in Wisconsin.
There's a saying that comes to look at Nathan hauling right now. There's a saying that says in America here that winning a race on Saturday starts in the garage on Friday night. So that really they're talking about being prepared. Maybe they're talking about Zwift though. I don't know.
Right.
But it is and I'm sure that you and Nathan have your process. The process is very, very important on, where do you put your shoes? It should always be the same. Your helmet, your nutrition. These things should always be the same. You don't want to vary and all of a sudden wonder, did I leave my helmet at home? Right. And so it's developing good practices. And I think that for us, Zwift has been a huge, huge part of that. It all starts being prepared.
Yeah, and Zwift has been a part of our training even during the summer because it just offers some sort of structure that we need additionally to the technical skills that you need on a bike outdoors. So even in the summers, we were racing on Zwift and training and using it as a tool also to get ready or even for recovery rides in between when maybe the weather wasn't very nice to be exposed necessarily to cold or rain, which is not as often in the summers. But still it offers also just an opportunity to connect with people around the world that you couldn't connect otherwise while riding.
I couldn't agree more. It's funny, Gabby, I'm looking at your profile right now. I was just wondering if you were level 60. You are level 60. So you're riding for
She's ahead of me. She's ahead of me. She's so fun. When I first met Gabby, I was looking at her, and I'm a coach, right? And I was like, you might not have to ride 30 hours a week. Like I'm not sure about 30 on a consistent basis. I'm not kidding.
This is the first person that Nathan has ever met, Gabby, that he thought maybe they were doing too much.
Well, I'm one of those Zwifters that, for example, here with the Tour of Watopia, as soon as there's a challenge, I want to do all of it. All the rides, the littles, the bigs, I need a check mark on everything. I need every badge. So I just spend hours.
No, Dave, we get into fights about this. I'll be like, hun, no, we don't. We have to let that go. We have to let it go.
I feel like Nathan really met his match. Gabby, what was your passion before cycling? I mean, Zwift had to, it hasn't been your whole life, is a fair way to put it. It's impossible for it to have been your whole life. So what were you? Were you a soccer player or football player, or what did you do before Zwift?
That's a very good question, Dave.
I should show. I'll show it. Go
I'm
ahead, though.
guessing skateboarder.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good guess. I started cycling not long time ago and Zwifting right after it. So those go kind of together, like cycling outdoors. Before that, I was recovering from injuries from skateboarding. So right,
Huh?
I'm a former skateboarder. I was very invested. 10 years ago, I started and I was pretty good. And at that time, unfortunately, the women's scene wasn't as big. So it was kind of hard to just like find sponsors or make kind of like a living out of it. But it was just for fun, just like a sport that is also a lifestyle. And then you travel a bunch and just get your tricks recorded and
A lot
get
like cycling, huh?
sponsors.
A lot like what we do.
Yeah, it's a lot of community. It's a
Uh-huh.
lifestyle basically. But it's a sport that has a lot of risk for injuries, and I kept injuring myself. And eventually, after a while, I thought, is this sustainable for my future?
Oh, wow.
So should I be doing that? And I really like running and lifting weights and riding bicycles. So I might.
Nathan's showing us
Oh.
you doing some crazy kick flips.
Yeah, that
That's-
was in Germany. Most
That's
of
in
it
Germany?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we would travel around
wow.
Europe just to record things and then get sponsors, get support, for the equipment that you need. You can't believe, but you need almost one pair of shoes a month.
Yeah, I can
Just to
believe
get
it looking
wrecked.
at what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I was having a private conversation with Nathan that was no longer private because I'm going to share it with you.
Oh gosh, here we go.
No, there was a really so you guys had just met and you were skateboarding and Nathan wiped out and you said to him, "Well, that'll make good content anyways." And at that moment I think that he knew that you were the perfect fit. Like you had the same vision. It makes me really happy when I see two people connect like that. So, man, do you ever? I guess I was going to say, do you ever skateboard anymore? I did see you out with the boys skateboarding at the skate park, but you weren't doing this kind of stuff.
Right. We do go with the boys. Our oldest, Kyle, he wanted a skateboard for his birthday, so he got one.
Oh.
And I was super happy about it because it's such a nice way to connect to the kids as well. And we go to the skate
They
park,
probably
I can
can't
show them some stuff, give them some
Yeah, they
tips.
can't believe that you can do. That's your mega one. That's a 6 step or 7 steps. Where is that in Berlin?
Where is that?
That's in Munich.
In Munich.
It's in the front of a museum.
Holy cow. I can see why. Yeah, let's not do any more of those during Zwift Grand Prix season.
Yeah, now when we go to the skate park, I just ride around because it's very you can fall out of nowhere. And, if you're not used to it anymore, so just take it easy.
How did it go, Nathan? How did it go for you on Thursday? I was doing the SEP thing, right, on Thursday, so that took up my whole day. So I've kind of been going back and rewatching Zwift Grand Prix in chunks just to but I haven't really seen the full men's race yet. How did it go for you?
I actually just loaded up my race to YouTube, but I had a chain drop about on 23rd Street. My all-in move for points.
What did I hear? Zach Neer did too, or something? What's going on
Zach
with
pulled
you
his
guys?
pedal, and
Okay.
I had a chain issue. So yeah, it's just working out the kinks, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, so
Sorry.
it's okay. I think there is a reality, even within Zwifting. I show up to
How your
Zwift
bikes
races.
go?
I show up to Zwift races, in the community, like training races more. Like I do take them semi-seriously, but it's still like a local race for me. Like, oh, okay, cool. But so the truth is, I push there, but I also push there in a way that's more about training. And so threshold, VO2, and I'm not like, it's all on
Maybe
the line.
not quite the violent snap that you'd see.
Exactly.
Right.
No, like the highest I've seen in Zwift racing as far as heart rate
I get it.
goes in the last 6 months to a year is 180, 184 maybe. I saw 193 beats per minute twice. Twice.
Nathan,
You see what I'm saying?
always have to respect racing and what it does with your adrenal gland and how you get that extra. It's not 1%. It's like 3.5%.
Yeah, so what happened
bigger.
was I think my bike wasn't used to what, not my bike, my setup wasn't dialed exactly like I would like in real life. My mountain bike is just everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think that had something to do with it. Showed up and worked out a kink. So I think we'll be good to go this week, though. Plus, we don't have any snaps like that. We're going up to Zwift. So,
Well, also I heard Teppo, and I've seen it at cyclocross races the most. I'm sure it happened. I don't announce at the World Cup mountain bike level, so I wouldn't be there to see it. But cyclocross, you definitely see on a regular basis riders snapping a chain out of the start grid. It's watts, and the same. I mean, Teppo Lorio snapped the chain. Racing. It's snapping a chain is a weird term. You're popping a rivet is really what you're doing. You're peeling a plate out of a rivet. I mean, to say you broke the chain you'd have to be Hulk to do that, but or Peter Sagan maybe. But at any rate, the mechanicals are going to be. It's crazy how just because it's virtual doesn't mean your bike gets a pass. It has to perform just like any bike would. Once we get that hub 1 dialed in inside of that 1.5% accuracy, having only one cog would be beautiful with virtual shifting if you could get that in racing, wouldn't it?
well, you're breaking up a little bit for some reason, babe. Yeah.
I'm mad at Gabby's microphone now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Kind of breaking up.
Huh.
Sorry about that, Nathan, but
It's okay.
yeah, it's okay. This is our first test. I think this is going to be fun. Maybe we could invite other riders to come do this with us, Nathan, as well as you and Gabby and myself. We'll replace the sloth. This would be a fun. Don't you? This feels like a good concept to me.
I love it,
Training
actually.
rides,
This
conversation.
is really great. I think this is great.
Yeah, I
We should
love it.
Do more of this. I think we could get a couple more in here and do some tour Watopias with
And I'd like.
4 riders.
Yeah, and Nathan, I'd like to take some pressure off you. You do the producing, the riding, the talking. So, maybe I could kind of help you out a little bit more with this one broadcast at least. I feel bad. You do 98% of the work, and I just sit there and
Actually,
then take
I got to
credit.
be honest, Dave. Right before the broadcast, we were having some technical difficulties, right? And I go to use the restroom, and I'm sitting here thinking in my head, if I didn't show up, they'd all be screwed. I was just like nothing would happen if I couldn't.
Well,
make it
isn't
back.
that the story of your life? That's the story of your life, isn't it?
I guess so, yeah.
But you know what, Nathan? Would you have it any other way? Actually,
I enjoy it. What's
Yeah.
interesting, all right, I want to talk to this. So there's a lot of chat coming through, and that's one thing that we didn't
Please.
get to talk about before productions actually was like, hey, let's have chats up. So one thing we really want to do here
next
is
time
interact with the chat as much as we can, because we want you to come and watch with us and chat with us and make it a space where the users can have an interaction with us as well. So in the
And when
future,
you
we'll
say
make sure
chat-
that in the future we'll make
Mostly
sure we have
YouTube.
Dave and Gabby and myself. We'll all have our chats up and ready to go for you on YouTube. I'll bring in the Twitch and Facebook myself for you guys, for everybody. But it'll definitely make sure that we're interacting with you. Gabby, I think you're good now. For some reason, you just had a network issue for a second.
Okay.
There she
Yeah, I
is.
hope you guys can hear me okay. So a little tip,
It's perfect.
like I did a post a couple days ago. If you're tired, you're in this uphill jungle, you just hit the coffee stop, you can relax for 2 minutes. I think I'm a little late. No, it's actually...
There you go. You got it. Why do you get it now? Mine wouldn't go through.
I saw
So I can
this
take
was
a
part of
break
the
now.
post.
Every 30 minutes, you can hit your coffee stop and you will stick to the riders around you for 3
So
minutes.
Nathan's. Oops, sorry, while you're on your coffee stop, I'm going to throw a question at Nathan from Kevin Osborne here. What are your thoughts? You kind of touched on it a little bit about the Alp coming up on Thursday for Zwift Grand Prix.
Ooh, thank you, Kevin. That's a good one.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks.
Yeah, and Kevin, I saw you joined in on the ride too. Appreciate you being here with us, buddy. You're awesome. So, oh man, we'll both have ideas about this. We've both been really thinking about it all week. And it'll be really interesting because we have sprint points. It's not just going to be a slog to the top. There's going to be sprint points. My question is whether or not we're going to have a situation where riders are, how do I say, just breaking away the front 5 to 10. And then
What
they're
type
just
of
going for
race?
the sprint points. So, like, we're going up the Zwift, but there's like 2 or 3 spots where you are able to go for extra points. And so,
What are they
because of
calling
that-
it? What is this
so
race
I'm
called?
gonna actually bring this up here in just a sec. I
Okay.
actually have that information. I think.
So
right
there's
in
like
front of
3 bonus segments on the climb, basically. Sprint points, kind of.
Yeah. So on the climb, there's 3 segments, 3 bonus locations: 6.5K, 9.1K, 15.2K. So those are the spots,
Okay.
and then the finish line. So
gonna be
you
a
can get
long
extra
race.
points. And I actually have here. I can bring this up here actually and give you an idea of what this is going to look like as far as the point structure goes too. So there's also a cutoff time. If you're 5 minutes behind the first place rider, you get pulled from the race, which that's pretty
That'd be
quick.
a mercy rule. Ultimately, if you're that far back, were you going to have a chance to get points anyways?
Dude, these guys, Dave, we don't have we have a lot of sprinters, we have a lot of climbers, and we have a lot in the middles.
Boy.
And in the middles, I think a lot less people are going to finish than we think.
Yeah,
A lot
I think
less.
so.
So
What do you
I just have
estimate?
to add that for the women's, the cutoff time is 7 minutes. It changed.
it is. Okay, it's different.
Uh-huh.
Got it.
Thanks.
So you probably can't see this on screen, but first place, 300 points, and then all the way down to 5 for 80th. And then the sprint points at 6.5, 9.1, 15.2 are 150, 75, 50, 40, and 35 for top 5. So it's a pretty, it's going to be pretty
Interesting
intense.
schedule. Yeah.
Thanks for the question,
That's
Kevin.
Thursday that we're
What are you thinking,
people are
Dave?
wondering.
What
That's
are your
Thursday.
thoughts? So my main concern is just making it with those guys at the front, and whether or not I react to the first moves, or if I wait.
Well, Gabby, it certainly to me sounds like a race where we say fortune favors the brave. Well, I would imagine ruthless attacking and racing at the front. There's not a lot to lose by doing that on a climb like this, especially when you know who you are and what your numbers are.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, can I handle an attack? If I do one, can I keep going in a pace that will actually keep people away? I would rather have the tendency of more like conservative, steady pace, because I think that the difference between the riders is pretty big as far as threshold skills go. So I think if a group of strong climbers do their thing, steady, strong climbing, that could drop half of the field maybe naturally. That's what I imagine. But I don't know if that really works like that. I can imagine that will be attacks and aggressive racing either way. But for me, I know the numbers that I can manage, and that numbers that I wouldn't go over, in the sense of, okay, if I go over, then I cannot sustain a threshold effort
Sure.
anymore. So
Yeah,
it's
you
not
have,
worth
like,
it.
Yeah, if a rider attacks, there's got to be a point where you say, I'm not going to cover that now. I'll have to see if I can bring her back over time here because I'll blow myself up if I sit at
Or
7.2 watts per kilo here for
Exactly.
another half second longer. Right. So,
And riders can be attacking Dave just for getting points and then fading back and not continue. So they
you
break
have
you,
to.
and then you also can't keep going, and you didn't get any points. So I think
Well,
it
do
will
they
be
break you or do you break yourself, Gabby? That's what I love about racing, right? They help you break yourself is really
Exactly.
what they're doing.
That's the beautiful thing about racing. Like we push
Yeah,
ourselves.
yeah.
You
Right,
wouldn't do it by
exactly. So,
yourself.
no, and you have to understand when you don't take the bait. That's clearly so. Outside of Kristen Kolchinski, have there been any riders that have been new in the last few months as far as exceptional climbers on the women's side to watch out for? I mean,
Dave, I
there's
have
been
to
the
confess, I'm not very familiar with all the names.
uh-huh.
Sometimes I see on Zwift Power. I think what makes a big difference on races like that, where it's just mainly uphill, is a rider that is a strong FTP rider, meaning, okay, they have a strong threshold and they're a little lighter than the main riders with a weaker, so to say, threshold. That makes sense in my head. Because, for example, Kolchinski, we know she's such a strong rider in many ways, but she has a super strong threshold. And
She weighs
she's
50
light.
kilo.
She's
Yep, she's at.
super light. And her
Yeah, I
threshold
think
sometimes matches thresholds of people that are 5 kilos heavier. And that just makes a difference in a race like that.
that's why she wins. And I would say that you're spot on with that assessment. It's incredibly hard for the women over 56.4. Is that what you are? Yeah, 56.4 kilos, the maximum. Yeah, no, it's definitely this is a very, very unique day of racing for our athletes. That's for sure.
Yeah,
So how's it going?
We're gonna bike swap. What are we
Okay,
doing? We gotta match
I felt
Trons
like that
now.
was
We
coming.
gotta match
I got my
Trons now.
stopwatch out.
Oh shoot. Okay, so it's A, stop, T. So A, T. Oh, no, escape, T. Then go boom, frame, Tron. But then we gotta look good on our Trons. We gotta match our Trons all the way to the bottom. All the way to the bottom.
Okay.
Both have pink Trons. There we go. Sweet. All right, I'll go find you again.
Okay.
Are you behind
you're
me?
ahead
You're
of
right
me.
there. Just a little bit. I'm just a little bit ahead of you.
All right. Yeah, it's been awesome connecting more and more to the women's community on Zwift, especially now in the racing season. All women that enjoy racing. We have chats going on, groups, and it's really nice to just support each other there when there are questions or struggles even that we can share with each other, especially with a race like that coming up, when weight matters a lot. I struggle with that, and I really like sharing and like getting help and helping others so that we can find the best possible version in a healthy way of ourselves. So that's also a
Well
thing
said,
to it.
Gabby. No, it's a real challenge. There's no doubt. And I really love what you're saying there is that the support of your peer group is critical and being supportive because other people really can't relate to what you're going through in this sport. It's so hard. You're up against so
Yes.
much. So there's that handful of other women or men out there that can relate. They're super valuable for you, for sure.
Exactly, yeah.
You guys look good on pink Trons.
There we are.
We have somebody next to us named Schrodinger's cat. This guy's supposed to be disappearing. I don't know what's going on with Schrodinger's cat. He's right on our wheel, though, right behind us. If you're in chat, let us know. Do you guys know the Schrodinger's cat? You guys know the...
Schroeder. So isn't this the rule of like something in suspended animation?
He's
I'm
in a
looking
box.
it
The
up now,
cat's in a box, but
but-
is he there? Like, is the cat dead or not? That's the whole thing with Schrodinger's cat, because he's in a box and you don't see him. Like, it's the idea of if you don't see an atom, is it there? Kind of a thing. That things have to be observed. That things have to be observed in quantum mechanics. Yeah.
Yep. in quantum mechanics, Schrodinger's cat is a thought experiment, sometimes described as a paradox of quantum superstition. Um, this is relatively complex. So, is the thought experiment a hypothetical cat may be considered simultaneously both alive and dead while it is unobserved in a closed box as a result of its fate being linked to a random subatomic event that may or may not occur?
Oh, yeah, that was right.
you
The
go.
subatomic event that may or may not occur in the box. Yep, I remember that part now. Yep.
There you go. You were close. I mean, you had it, actually. I'm impressed. So,
That's my philosophy degree coming in.
yeah, kicking in there.
Well, we're riding with Schrodinger's cat. He definitely seems, or she definitely seems to be with us here and not dead and pedaling at this moment.
Definitely alive. Absolutely. Confirmed alive.
Maybe she has or he has the ghost power up extra for that name.
We need a ghost power up right now. That would be so perfect.
I was thinking at first you were talking about the cat from Alice in Wonderland, the smiling cat.
Oh yeah.
Is that?
What's his name?
I forget what that was.
Cheshire
Cheshire cat. The
Cheshire,
Cheshire
thank you.
grin,
Cheshire
they
cat.
call it.
Yep.
Right.
That's it. That's definitely it. So
A different
we're on the way
cat.
back. You do. So Road to Ruins, you go out, hit the climb on the bottom of Watopia Mountain, and then we go up. We did our bike exchange, change twice. I rode the mountain bike. I was barely pushing, I felt like at times, and dropped Gabby by like 100 places. Like that's how much faster the mountain bike is than the gravel bike.
Gravel, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, in that moment, that's how much faster it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, on dirt.
Uh-huh.
That's just mountain bike's just faster on dirt, unless you're going uphill a lot. You have to really have some uphill from the weight, but otherwise, mountain bike is just faster.
And again, here on Zwift Insider, you can find tons of information and tests about it. Rolling resistance, bike differences, time tests. It's really amazing how much you can get out
It
of.
is. Nathan, how is Eric able to do this? I mean, it's mind-blowing how much like Gabby's talking about, it's the testing, but also he seems to have the best ability to get the information. It's not just that he presents it to us. There's a lot of the mining of the info that he does. I mean, yeah, I guess I'm asking an impossible question because if yeah.
I mean, he's been at it for 7 years, 7 years too. So he's got a process, and it's like can plan way
he knows
ahead.
the people. You know, he's connected. That's another thing. He knows who to
connected.
ask. Right.
And then on top of that, like having a process, like it's not like he's going and figuring out like how do I do a bike test. He has that all set up, ready to go. Boom, boom,
He
boom,
has
boom.
his formulas, right?
You
Sure.
know what I mean? And so
He must be an engineer in his background, though, to be able to run those tests that efficiently and cleanly. I wonder what his
he was in the
educational.
banjos before this.
Well, I mean, if you can play a banjo, to be honest, the math involved with music. Do either of you play an instrument? Like, there's a ton of math
This
in
one's-
music.
Yeah.
Violin, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
right, Gabby?
definitely
You're with
math.
me on that. You're going to
Yeah.
have to know a ton to. So
I've
Doesn't
been
hurt.
familiarized with music since I was little, reading notes, and you have to count times and
timing. Yeah.
rhythms, and it is math. And it's also our own language, so it requires quite some skills. Developed
It's actually,
your
Nathan,
brain.
Yeah, if you think about it, it is a language, perfectly said, Gabby, to be able to take sound, take music, and put that onto paper, and then someone else could replicate that, somewhat like writing a script for a movie, right? That they could
Yes.
just look at something on paper and turn it into something that's a visual medium or an audio medium. That's part of, when I first saw Zwift, this was something that I think people had dreamed of, sort of like George Jetson. It was always out there in the ether. And, for John and Eric to connect all the dots and make this possible, it's something I'm really happy happened in my lifetime. I'll be honest about that.
We have.
What are you doing, Nathan?
Well, this is another thing for indoor riding. We've been like
You look hot.
playing with cooling, like how to go about cooling, and we listen to a lot of podcasts on human performance and stuff. And recently, Huberman in the Huberman podcast in the last year or two did one specifically on cooling. And there's a tactic that they employed with people doing pull-ups, or I think it was just pull-ups, the one that they did. But they would do pull-ups to fail, and then they would have two different groups, and one of the groups, the test group, would cool their hands slightly, or somewhere they would practice different places of putting cooling through, and they found that those who were holding on to a not super cold, but a cold ice pack that didn't like make it so your blood stopped moving, but your blood has to really move well through, you'll get this response where your body thinks it can work harder. There's like some sort of response in your body that says it's okay, you can work harder. And the people who did that did like a full extra set or something of like, or like, I mean, it was a significant, it wasn't just like, oh, like on the edge, like a significant amount of more pull-ups. So for both cooling and also that like neurological response of like you can keep going, we've been practicing like ice packs or making sure the fan is right there.
Adaptation, right?
Yeah,
like,
well, two different things, because like there's two different physiological reactions actually happening. There's one that's more of a neurological response in the brain that's saying it's okay, you can push. And there's another that has to do with just cooling, that like you're cooling the body too. Like they're two different responses, I guess, is what it sounded like from my understanding. So that's what I was doing. Whenever you see me do this on my stream, it's me trying to cool the hand to tell the body it's okay.
All right. And there's definitely a huge part of this is going to be mental as well, right? The fact that you're...
That's what somebody said in my chat, actually. I was telling them about that. They were like, that sounds like hocus pocus.
I don't think it's hocus pocus per se, but I think that if you buy in on something, it's much more likely to work. You know, yeah.
True.
Okay.
Oh, hold on, hon. I don't know
Your
what's
mic
happening.
again,
Yeah,
Gabby.
I'm sorry, hon. Something's
I
going
have
on
one
with
of
her
those
network
mics
card.
too.
No, it's the network. Do you see how she's not moving
It's
as
not
much?
the mic. Yeah.
No, it's for some reason her PC is not liking.
Niels riding right now.
What's that?
Niels that is riding with us right now and chatting, watching the stream. Say hi from Germany, from Coalition.
Ah.
Oh, that's Niels. I didn't even realize. He's right with us right now. Nice.
Yeah. We invited him through the Discord channel. So hi, Niels.
Yeah, welcome, Niels.
From Germany.
Where in Germany? Where in Germany is Niels? Gabby, do you know?
I don't know. Niels, you said you're watching stream, so maybe you can write on chat.
Yeah,
where you're
we're
from.
curious.
We're curious. We raced underground coalition. What was it? Chase race last year a lot. It was really, really fun. And Niels was always there too.
We also
Is
got
Anna
Niall in
Russell
here, too.
your-
Good to see Niall hanging out in chat is too from Bicycle Works.
Ah. Niall, the young man from the United Kingdom?
Yep.
Yep. Nice. Gabby, have you been directed by Anna Russell now? Is that the same Sarah Snowpin's team?
Yes, that's correct, Dave.
That's got to be fun.
We also posted a team time trial that I joined them during the ZRL season, and Anna was de-icing, and it was so fun. And we made a really funny video out of it.
Good.
And now we're on the same team for Saris and Grand Prix. Yeah.
But who else is on that team with you for this week, anyways?
For this week, I didn't see who will be racing. I'm always a little behind.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of planning. Who will be available? Who will be suitable for whatever tactics or course? So we'll see. I'm also
Nathan, you
curious
said-
about the other teams.
You said your team, Italy, Castelli, Nathan, has a lot of sprinters on it.
Yeah, I think we have 3. And then most of the rest of us, we don't have any peer climbers, I don't think. I might be the best climber, so we'll see how it goes. I've been pretty focused this week, last couple of weeks actually, on getting ready for the Alp. So threshold work. Actually on, because I have a feeling I may be the strongest climber. We'll see. I'm not positive of that because I only have been hanging out with the guys for a couple weeks now. And my first time racing with them was last week. So I'm still getting an idea of who's who. There is a little bit of a language barrier too. So like there is that, but we'll find out real quick come Thursday. Because I mean, within the first 5 to 10 minutes, we will know who's the climbers and who's not.
I guess it all comes out in the wash, doesn't it? We'll find out pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly. We will find out real quick. And the preparation, though, I mean, we were doing, because those attacks are coming, I essentially was like, all right, well, I need to go just do 20-minute all-out efforts, which they're a little bit shorter. So from a training perspective, for those that might be interested in that, like doing the effort that you're going to do is good simulation, but it's like, if you think about like a good analogy would be when I go to, so I come from a family that is in landscaping, and when I go to cut wood, I sharpen the axe with another piece of metal. You know what I mean? And so like it looks nothing like, I mean it looks a little bit like chopping wood, but the type of material I go to sharpen the metal to get ready to go chop wood is sharper. It's harder. You see what I'm saying? And so like, same idea. I need something just not a lot harder, but slightly harder for a little bit shorter period of time. Cut it into 2 so I can be like, 330 watts with punches at 450 or 500 rather than 300 watts or 320 watts at punches at 390. Because in the race situation, I'll probably do a little bit less because it's a 40-minute climb or whatever versus doing a 20-minute climb with punches in the middle of it. I can actually produce a little bit more that looks similar to the effort though. So that's an idea that a lot of times we use in coaching where it's like you break it up just enough that you can go 5% harder. But then it is still the same kind of effort, same exercise system. So,
yeah, steel sharpens steel. You don't hear people saying aluminum sharpens steel, right? And so what you're going to be looking for then is like steel that's just a tiny bit harder than you are, right?
Exactly.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
And sometimes you can't get that out of
because to follow through with that analogy, which is absolutely spot on. If you had steel that was twice as hard as the steel that you were, it would break you.
Exactly.
Right. So,
and you actually so the idea there is you actually go into a different system then if you go outside certain tolerances. So then you're doing zone 5 training instead of threshold. It's not what you need. Or if it's too soft, you're doing zone 3 or whatever it is, So yeah, there's very specific tolerances then too.
Yeah, when you take someone off the couch and you say you want to get fit, we don't start them off by having them run marathons, do we?
So I have to say, if you're married to Nathan Guerra, you get very hard training. He trains super hard and almost kills himself and scares me. And I have to do the same thing. So thank you. We have a question from Chad that I think is kind of interesting. How come Nathan did end up racing with Team Italy?
That is a good question. So Nathan, how did you, he's doing something else. But I agree. I was wondering the same thing, Gabby. He doesn't speak Italian. I was wondering it sounds like they were a team of sprinters that needed a guy with his very specialized skill set. That might be, maybe they recruited him.
Yeah, so essentially, to be honest, I just really, really wanted to race Zwift Grand Prix. And the hot shot over here. No, the hot shot over here, everyone's talking to her. And so I was like, hey, would you take both of us? And then they were like, oh, And then the Sour Snow Pins was just a better fit for Gabby. And I was like, well, I'm still available, guys. And they're like, heck yeah, let's go.
Well, good. It has. Were you kidding about taking Babbel or Duolingo or?
No, I'm not kidding.
Rosetta Stone?
I'm not kidding
Yeah, you
at all.
should.
No, like because I mean, Duolingo was 100% a part of me convincing Gabby she should hang out with me. So now it's after that, I needed it for interacting with anybody on Zwift all over the world.
And you only really, to be effective in a cycling team, in a race, your vocabulary only needs to be about 50 words.
That's a good point.
I think,
they kind of say the same ones. Like, we hear
how
a
do you
lot
say
of
cover
andiamo.
attack?
Andiamo. That's the only one I got so far. Andiamo.
And I taught you that. And I taught you that one. So.
Ragazzi, yeah, I hear that one a lot. I don't know what they mean. But I'm
So
going to learn.
ragazzi mean? It sounds
Guys.
cool.
I think it means guys.
It
Ciao.
means guys.
Come on, guys.
Like,
Andiamo, ragazzi.
dudes. Yeah, nice. They sound cooler than the Americans, that's
Oh
for
my
sure.
gosh, it's the best. It's absolutely
it's
the
like-
best. It's the best. Like, I want those guys in the background just for the stream content. Like, it's so good.
Yeah. Gabby, have you ever heard people say that Portuguese is the most romantic language in the world? Have you ever heard that before?
I've heard that before. Yeah,
Yeah.
I usually hear that about
Respond in
Italian.
Portuguese, and then we know.
Então, quando alguém fala português, todo o ambiente muda, porque é uma língua muito bonita.
That was your first language, right? I mean, Brazil,
it is my
that's
first
the...
language.
Yeah.
And Portuguese from Brazil is very different than, not very, but it's different
but-
than Portuguese from Portugal. It sounds different.
It's funny, in my time in cycling, we had a woman named Joanna Zanella who was she was really amazing because she was a podium presenter, right? So that was her role with the race, but she was also fluent in English and Spanish and had worked as a TV presenter in UFC fighting. She actually married one of the well-known UFC fighters, but she would help with our translations for the riders and it's Spanish-speaking language riders, and most of the time they were Colombian, and we really learned that Colombian Spanish and the Mexican Spanish that she spoke were really not. I mean, she understood perfectly, but she
Yes.
was not a fan of the way that they spoke. Kind of, like it was definitely different to her.
Yeah, I
than-
think words are the same, but the way they're pronounced is so different that it just sounds like a different language.
Same thing with people from Barcelona, right? Spanish people, you hear, it just
Yeah.
sounds a little bit different.
And then they have their own dialects around certain regions in Spain,
Yeah.
so it changes. Yeah.
Well, Well, guys, I'm going to wrap things up here. It's been an absolute blast today. Nathan, I'm going to put in a request that we do this more.
I like this, Dave. I actually think this, like, we'll nail this down as far as all of
Yeah.
this is our first go. It's a test event. It was a last-minute call, so getting everything to the level that we expect on ZCL wasn't quite there, but I think the authentic interactions, riding, people able to like enjoy their ride while they have a conversation with us. That's the whole point here. And getting the Tour of Watopia in, get your badges, get your equipment. I think it's a great way to do it. So I'm super excited about this, and we'll keep this going with that whenever we can. I think it's a good thing,
Perfect.
especially between ZRLs.
Yeah. Thanks, Gabby. I really appreciate you sharing your story with us today, and can't wait to cheer for you on Thursday. And I have already been a big fan, so we'll continue to keep that going for sure. And Nathan,
Dave.
always, of course, and always a big thank you to Nathan for all that you do. Nathan, you're amazing. So andiamo, ciao bello.
Andiamo, ciao bello. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week for New Roads. We're going to do the New Roads right here, live in chat. Join up with us next Tuesday. All right. See you, everybody.